Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, a kind queen sat by her window during winter. As she sewed, she pricked her finger, and 3 drops of blood fell to the snow-covered windowsill. The red blood on the white snow looked beautiful. The queen thought, "I wish I had a daughter with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony." Soon after, the queen gave birth to a baby girl. She had skin white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. They named her Snow White. Sadly, the queen died shortly after giving birth. The king remarried. His new wife was beautiful but proud and cruel. She had a magic mirror. Every day she would ask, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror would reply, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." This pleased the queen. She loved being the most beautiful. But as Snow White grew older, she became more beautiful each day. One day, the queen asked her mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror replied, "You are fair, my queen, but Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen was furious. She couldn't stand that someone was more beautiful than her. She called her huntsman and ordered, "Take Snow White into the forest and kill her. Bring her heart as proof." The huntsman took Snow White into the forest, but as he raised his knife, he saw her innocence and beauty. He couldn't kill her. He said, "Run away, Snow White, never return." He let her go and brought back a wild animal's heart to deceive the queen. Snow White ran deep into the forest. She was scared and tired. She came upon a small cottage. Inside, everything was tiny. Tiny chairs, tiny beds, and tiny dishes. She was so tired that she lay down on one of the beds and fell asleep. In the evening, the owners of the cottage returned. They were 7 dwarfs who worked in the mines. They found Snow White sleeping. She woke up and told them her story. The dwarfs felt sorry for her and said, "You can stay with us if you keep the house clean and cook for us." Snow White agreed happily. Back at the castle, the queen asked her mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror replied, "Snow White, who lives with the 7 dwarfs, is the fairest of them all." The queen was enraged. She realized the huntsman had tricked her. She decided to kill Snow White herself. The queen disguised herself as an old peddler woman. She went to the dwarf's cottage and offered Snow White a beautiful corset. As she helped Snow White put it on, she pulled it tight, so tight that Snow White couldn't breathe and fell down. The queen left, thinking Snow White was dead. But the dwarfs returned in time. They loosened the corset, and Snow White breathed again. The queen tried again. She disguised herself and went to the cottage with a poisoned comb. She offered it to Snow White. As soon as Snow White used the comb, she fell down. The dwarfs came home and removed the comb. Snow White woke up. They warned her not to open the door to strangers. The queen was furious. She made a poisoned apple. One side was red and beautiful, the other was poisoned. She disguised herself as a poor old woman and went to the cottage. She offered the apple to Snow White. Snow White hesitated. The queen took a bite from the safe side and offered the poisoned side to Snow White. Snow White took a bite and fell to the ground. This time, the dwarfs couldn't revive her. They placed her in a glass coffin in the forest. Time passed. One day, a prince came through the forest. He saw Snow White in the coffin and was captivated by her beauty. He asked the dwarfs if he could take her to his castle. They agreed. As the prince's servants carried the coffin, they stumbled. The piece of poisoned apple dislodged from Snow White's throat. She opened her eyes. The prince was overjoyed. He asked Snow White to marry him. She agreed. They invited everyone, including the wicked queen. The queen, still vain, asked her mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror replied, "You are fair, my queen, but the new queen is the fairest of them all." The queen was shocked to see Snow White alive, and now a queen. She was so angry that she ran away and was never seen again. Snow White and the prince lived happily ever after. The 7 dwarfs visited them often, and the kingdom rejoiced in their happiness.
Thank you for watching, kids. Subscribe and like for more videos.